Hi guys, so it's been a while and I've actually got started on the Rover. Took the Stag down to the barn and put it away for the, well, not put it away for the winter, but just put it in somewhere dry with a cover over it so I can get out and use it when it's a nice sunny autumn day, which was yesterday. Went to the Horton Classic Car Show, or Classic Car Get Together. It's a club near Chipping Sodbury on the Bath Road, so I went to the Cross Hands Hotel and took the Stag along there and saw some very interesting, very eclectic range of cars. So yeah, so this is where I am with the Rover P5B Coupe. I did a video about this showing some of the rot, mainly sort of centralised around this left-hand passenger side sill, where obviously the salt water line, or the salt line at the edge of the roads, obviously does a real number. This car was kept outside and it was used quite often as a daily driver for a number of years. So the state of the windscreen seals was pretty poor, so water was getting in, and we've got a little bit of rot here. But actually, compared to some, I got away lightly, I think, in some respects with this car. So so where am I? What have I done? So I started off with the floor pan because the sill's going to come out, but I wanted to sort the floor pan before doing the sill so that I could have a point of reference when putting the sill back in again. So I'm just going to grab a torch to brighten things up a little bit. So having worked on the Stag, I was used to being able to order panels and everything online very easily, but with the P5B it's a bit more of a challenge, so you can't buy a floor pan for a P5B anymore. However, I did find a nice chap that has a saloon and or a coupe that he'd been doing a restoration on, and he bought a parts car which was sat out on bricks, and I went round there and got busy with the angle grinder. So I basically ground out the entire floor pan, which is very solid, on his parts car, and gave it a shot blasting, get all the old undersealer and paint off it, and then cut out mine and basically welded. So I kind of effectively, when I cut out the floor pan from his car, I had to cut just alongside where it actually normally was spot welded along here, so I cut it along there. So I added on a piece of metal here, a strip, which would have taken it back to as it would have been, and obviously drilled the holes for plug welding it, then cut it in and butt welded it all the way along here up into there. That's actually a hole for a bolt that goes through there, which I've got to finish off. Welded it along here because all of this here is solid, and then went all the way around, and then I stopped about there. So I've basically left it unwelded along the sill. I've got it's folded down ready to be spot welded to the new sill, so all of that along there is free, and I haven't quite finished. I left these plug welds free because I know I'm going to have some work to do underneath where the cross member is, because this end of the cross member where it joins the sill is rotten, so I've got a replacement to go on there, which I bought from Wadham's. So yeah, there you go, this piece here, which will go in underneath to repair that. So that's what I started by doing. I then did some other bits and pieces to try and just keep myself busy. I didn't really want to start on the sill yet, so obviously I stripped the car out, the seats are out, all the trim pieces and hardboard trims for the doors and the parcel shelf at the back and everything. Took those out, bought some seat covers from Wadham's, and I've taken the seats and the seat covers down to a very nice lady called Lizzie Patton, who is going to fit the car seats for me, or the car seat covers. And in the meantime, I've bought myself a staple gun for the to use with the airline, and then I started to recover those panels which are in my office, but I can't show you at the moment. But anyway, I've got all those ready to go back in the car. I'll probably do something on that a bit later. Then I carried on with a bit more welding. So I started off here. I bought this as a repair panel from Wadham's. It's called the box section. Repair panel, you've got two, small or large. This is the small one, and it just effectively extends to just basically level with the splash guard. But you can also buy a large one which goes all the way back to here. But I found that this was fairly solid or I thought it was, until I started cutting away, but actually it had gone along underneath, so I've had to do a load of welding and repair and let some new metal in there. And then I've effectively, this piece here, although it looks new, it's actually cut out. It's the original. Then I gave it a shot blasting, and it enabled me to get in there and repair in behind the box section as well, which needed doing. So that was actually a lot of work, a lot more work than it looks, but probably 3 days worth of fiddling and welding and trying different things and cutting out patches and doing all sorts of things like that. So then I've repaired this splash guard because that was rotting where it joined up against there, and I just put in a piece here to repair the splash guard there. So that's all butt welded into place. I haven't gone mad grinding up the welds here. I've kind of taken them back a bit, but I've gone for sort of, the fact that I want it to be strong, and all this is under the wing, because of course the wings on the P5 bolts on, so that was a very easy job just to remove the wings. And then I'm going to shock blast the wings and get them ready for paint. So you can do a lot of that off the car, which makes life a lot easier, especially when you're in a smaller garage like mine. Haven't really touched the engine yet or anything like that. That's going to come out at some point, but I'm leaving it in there at the moment just to keep my sort of car level and keep the weight in the front of the car, so that I can sort of look at door fit, panels, gaps and all sorts of things. So that's the next thing really before I start on the sill. I'm going to finish up some welding on that side, doing the same bit of box section. Might record some more video of that. Then I want to start on this sill on the passenger side, but before I even go there I need to sort out door fit and panel gaps and stuff, because at the moment the doors do fit but they're not brilliant panel gaps, and you've got a little bit of a wider gap at the bottom there, a narrow gap here. Could be down to the sill, but I think it's also just perhaps that this door was probably a replacement at some point, or a different skin on it or whatever, and it wasn't done particularly well, so I've got to do a bit of fettling. Got to make up a patch for here and cut that in. I'm probably going to cut out a piece sort of like that and let that in place, and try and get rid of this trim as well, make sure that it's good all round. So that's that. Lots of flaky underseal to pull off at some point, which I'm not looking forward to. And that's but underneath that I think it's probably what's kept the car in good nick, at least where it hasn't flaked. So this looks more solid this side, however there is some holes under here, so again you can see how this would happen. A bit of moisture gets in past the splash seal, or whatever, starts wearing through here and you get holes in there, then the water comes in, sits along the bottom of that bit of box section there, and just gradually rots out the bottom, which is just fantastic. So but again, most of this is solid, so I think what I'm probably going to do is start by cutting this panel out, cleaning it up to be welded back in, and with that out I can then address any of the rush issues along the bottom edge. Again, cut out a section here of the splash guard, sort of patch up any holes or rust here, and then weld that back in. But I think here we're fairly solid around underneath. There are some holes underneath right in there going into the inner wing, which I need to sort out as well. So that's where we stand. Obviously we've got some rot there to deal with, but the A-post itself, apart from when it goes into the sill, isn't too bad. I had to cut this panel out, this hole here, to get at the back of the hinge plate, because the screws for the bottom hinge had seized into the hinge plate, and when I tried to undo them with a bit more force, they just rounded off inside the hinge plate and they won't come out or do up now. So I've got that to sort out as well. But so that's a brief update as to where I am. Screens are both out, but both front and back screens are out and ready to be cleaned up. Obviously I've got to scrape all the old jollop out of here, and I've got some replacement seals. Likewise I've got a boot seal, so I've got boxes of bits to start putting back in it at some point, but before then I've got a lot of work to do, a lot more welding to do. Get the engine out, check that over and report back. Anyway, see you soon.